in now for a really fun tutorial on Google Calendar. So let's take a look. When we start in ClassLink. So if you do not know how to use ClassLink, check the ClassLink screencast. And now that you're in ClassLink, let's get started. ClassLink, as you can see, has all of these different apps available for you, and one of those is your Google Calendar. So we'll click on the Google Calendar, and that will take us immediately into that interface. As you can see here, Google Calendar is pretty much what it is advertised as. It is a calendar. It allows you to set appointments, keep appointments, interact with people through web conferencing, being able to see when people are busy or not busy, and just a nice way to manage your schedule. So I want to show you some of the basic features today in order to be able to get you started, because in the distance learning model, you are going to have to keep yourself organized if you're going to be successful, and that will mean keeping a calendar. So here we go. Across the top bar here, you'll see all information. Anytime you want to go back to today's date, you just click today. You can obviously scroll into different weeks here by clicking these arrow buttons. You see where the current months are. And then over here, you can search if you want to look for a specific calendar item. You can check for help, and you can always go in and look at your settings. This particular drop down here allows you to determine how you want to view your calendar. If you want to just look at your day at a glance, you can do an itemized day like that. You can obviously, like we started, look at your week at a glance. You can also look at the whole month so you can see what that looks like. Then you can look at the entire year if you want to be able to go that far. You can check your schedule. And so these are just the items that are on your calendar. And you can look at the next 4 days and see how that looks. But we're going to stick with the week. That tends to be the easiest and most commonly used viewing format. Additionally, when you want to find a date, you can always find a date by clicking over here in this calendar section. And this visual calendar. So since school starts on the 6th, you can click on that. And as you can see, there are things already scheduled here. If we go to Wednesday the 8th, when the first office hours are, you can see by double clicking, you can obviously click into something, something more specific to the day. Okay, so let's go back to the 4th. With creating a calendar item is not that difficult. All you would do is just go up here and go create. Another way to do it is by clicking on the exact time that you want. So for example, if you wanted to schedule something for today at 5 p.m., you could just click there and it'll create up this little quick pop-up box. That's one way to do it. The other way is to go create, and that will do the same thing. But then, of course, you'd have to adjust your times and whatnot. So let's take a look and see what that looks like. Let's create something for 5 o'clock. So here, we can just very quickly type test on here. You have choices, whether this is an event, whether it's something that is, you're out of the office. This is really for people who have, careers. You can set it as a reminder for yourself. You can set it as a task for yourself. And you can also create appointment slots. Here you have control over the date, the times, and the end date for that time. You also can add guests here. So for example, if you want to invite your teacher, like let's say you wanted to invite me, you could type in your teacher's last name, their email will pop up, and now all of a sudden you have that. And one of the cool features here is that you can actually see that person's availability. So as soon as you type in a person's name, you can see how their calendar's scheduled and see whether or not they're busy at that time. So that actually becomes quite helpful as well. Then down here, if you want to add a location or a room or something like that to meet in, you can. But for distance learning, you will want to do through conferencing, which will automatically default you to Google Meet. This will create a link that the guests that you have will see, and then they can click on that in their own calendar item. If you want to give people information about your calendar item, you can type in a description here and you can bold it, put links if you want them to access particular Google Docs or anything. So if you're meeting with your teacher, for example, and you want them to look at a specific document that you've been creating, you can put that document title in here and link it for your teacher. So that way they can open it up with you and look at it at the same time in your Hangouts, in your Hangout conference. So that would be one way to do that. And so when you're all done, you just click Save. You have now an option to either send it to that person via email, to just put it on their calendar without getting an email notification, or you can just dismiss altogether, which means you would not put it on the calendar. We're going to say don't send because it would just go to me and that wouldn't be of any value. So you can see now it's on your calendar. Now, if you want to go and go a little bit deeper on this, you can actually go here to edit. And let's say you forgot something, you can click on that little pencil and go to edit. And as you can see, there's a lot more things you can do. You can, for example, set your notification for when you want to be notified of this. You can also say that you're busy during that time, or you can say you're free during that time. So if it's like something you're scheduling, but you want people to know you're still free, you can do that. So this gives you a lot of variations and on options there. So another thing is when a calendar item has been put on your calendar, you will notice that it shows up as kind of a blank, whereas once it's been created or accepted, it shows up as a different color. So in this particular case, if this student wants to go ahead and join this particular calendar item, or say they're going, they would just click on the calendar link and select yes. You also, when you get an email, your email will also give you buttons to press. So if you click yes within your email, that will also change it on your calendar. Let's say that you have a web conference coming up, just like this student does at 3 o'clock today. You can then go ahead and click on the link within the calendar item. So you don't have to go searching or opening up a different app. You can automatically click on the link and that'll pull the app up for you. So that way you can then join that conference call with them. So that gives you, again, more opportunities to be able to do things simply and easily. At any time, of course, you can delete a calendar item. You can do it by clicking the trash can. You also can right-click and do the same selections, join the meeting, or remove it by right-clicking. You can also change the calendar item color if you're so inclined to do so. All right. So lastly, one of the cool features that Google has is that Google synchronizes a lot of their different apps that they have. And two of the apps that they use that are very helpful are Google Keep and Google Tasks. And so Google Keep is like a note-taking app. It allows you to be able to take notes and store them. Google Keep has its own separate app, but you can also access it from within Calendar, and you can access it from within any Google Suite document that you're looking at. So if you're in Google Docs and you want to put notes on the side, you can open up your Google Keep and keep notes. This is really good if you're outlining for essays or if you're trying to keep track of particular pieces of information. But let's say you also want to keep track of your things to do. You can click on Tasks. And Tasks allows you to start adding in different things that you have to do. So if you have a homework assignment coming up, or if there's something you need to do around the house, you can put that task in here, and then it gives you a nice little checklist that you can keep out on the side. So that gives you some additional support. And by the way, all of these apps are downloadable into your cell phones. And so if you download them, they can sync with your school account, and you can access all this information from your cell phone or your tablet as well. All right. Well, that's Google Calendar. So please make sure that you start using this, because this will help you a lot as you're organizing yourself and getting ready for the distance learning model. It'll make it easier for you to contact your teachers, and you can always shock them by sending them a calendar item and letting them know that you want to meet with them.